up? It's Chris from Laser Lemon and UpandLoaded.com. Today, we are talking about Nintendo's E3 2017 presentation, the Nintendo Spotlight. If you are not aware, that is pretty much a glorified Nintendo Direct. They seem to call it something else every single year. This year, they're calling it a Spotlight. When they first announced it, they said this is going to be a 30-minute long video. And I went, 30-minute long video? Sony, Microsoft, Bethesda, Ubisoft, EA, all of these companies were going to do a presentation much longer than 30 minutes, and they did. Spoiler alert. Nintendo did not do a 30-minute video. A lot of people said, you know what, don't worry. These things often run long. Not this one. It ran short. Nintendo announced a 30-minute video, and they gave us a 24.5-minute video, roughly. So, yeah, and we'll get into that. The first thing they did was they showed off this marketing sizzle reel that looked a lot like the commercials we've been seeing for the Switch in the games, like ARMS, Zelda, you know, the whole idea of just getting together, playing with your friends, playing some games that do not just look like a bunch of me characters running around, playing with grandma and all that, but it is in a very inclusive environment that they've cultivated. They showed Splatoon, they showed Rocket League, we'll get into that. They showed a lot in this sizzle reel. They showed guys getting blasted with paint. It looked fun. It was a nice little intro to get your blood pumping, even though it was only going to be 24.5 minutes, roughly. Now, after that, Reggie takes the stage, and by stage, I mean green screen. He's like in a house, and he starts waxing philosophical, talking about God knows what. But then the house disappears, and then Reggie disappears. And they start showing off games. They show Xenoblade 2. I still don't know what the hell this main character is wearing. If I get this game, it is under the one condition that I can make that character not wear those pieces of clothing. Not feeling it, Nintendo. I don't know why this is the way you are marketing this game. I don't know why this seems to be the default set of clothing for this character. Not feeling it. And it was very, very Japanesey. And I don't mean that as a slight, but I have more Western inclinations on taste. So when they showed Fire Emblem Warriors down the line, it was also very much in the same vein. Very, very much a bunch of odd pieces of dialogue cut up, meant to sound dramatic, but it really just sounds very melodramatic. And hey, it's not really my style, but I know a lot of people are into it, so good for you. The big news on Xenoblade 2, this very first game that they highlighted, was that it is indeed coming out this year in America. A lot of people did not think that was going to happen. They said, for sure, it's getting delayed. It's being made by Monolith Soft. They delay stuff. That's the name of the game. Nintendo in general is all about delaying. And you know, we say this now. It's coming out this year. Nintendo confirmed it, but we don't know. There's still a very good chance some of these games could be delayed into next year. Next, they showed off Kirby, and they just called it Kirby 2018, which is weird because Nintendo said we're focusing on 2017 games, and it really dampened my hype. They said we're focusing on 2017 Switch games, and we are going to be a 30-minute long presentation, and that just deflated me. I was just like, you know what? Maybe next year. Next year is where the games are going to be at. But Nintendo came up with some surprises, including Kirby 2018. Now, for me, Kirby is cool. It's never been something I gotta have. I do have some Kirby games. I enjoy them. For me, though, this seems like a fun game to play together. Like with my girl, my wife. I think I could play that with her. Next, they brought in a Pokemon guy. He is not a guy that was made a Pokemon, but he's a Pokemon guy. He works for the Pokemon company. And he said, yo, we already announced that Pokken DX is coming to the Switch. And that's cool, right? But we also, a couple days ago, we were talking about Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon for the 3DS, and yo, you guys weren't very happy about that. But don't worry, we have a core Pokemon RPG coming to the Switch in probably over a year from now. So look out for that. And that's cool. That's cool. There was some 3DS stuff. Nintendo didn't show it in the presentation, but they also have a Metroid 2 remake coming out. Now, if you don't remember, or if you weren't aware, Nintendo shut down a Metroid 2 remake fan project that came out last year. You had to download it before it was too late because it's gone, you know. Nintendo shut that down real quick, and it turns out the reason was because they were making their own Metroid 2 remake. So It's a 3DS game, though. It's 3DS exclusive. I don't get it, Nintendo. Why couldn't you have just, like, said, you know what? We're in this transitional period. Maybe we hook up the 3DS people, but we also say, hey, Switch owners, you want a high-res version? $10 more. You'll pay it. You'll like it. I would have. And think about it, Nintendo. Think about it. Next, speaking of Metroid, they showed off, or teased, Metroid Prime 4. I'm excited. I'm really excited about this. It was very simple. They didn't show any footage or anything. They haven't really said anything about the game except that it's in development for Switch. It was just a 4 pulsing while the Metroid Prime music slowly got louder. Hype me up, man. And the really cool thing about it, to me, is that it's not being made by Retro Studios. And some people would hear that sentence and want to eat me alive. Listen, I think Retro Studios would make an excellent Metroid Prime 4. Probably the best Metroid Prime 4 could be made by Retro Studios. But I'm very glad it's not being made by them because Retro deserves to do something else. Listen, they have been Nintendo's powerhouse Western studio, but what have they done? They made Metroid Prime 1, 2, 3, and then they made Donkey Kong Country Returns and Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. There's something in common here. There's only 2 different IPs in that list of games. 5 games, only 2 different IP. That is because Nintendo has been all about taking new ideas and slapping old IP on them. With those games, not so much, but this was a company, Retro Studios, when Nintendo first got involved with them. They were a company with big ambitions. A lot of their ambitions were not so great. A lot of their games got canceled. Actually, pretty much all of them, except the ones I listed, were canceled. But they were a company started with a vision, and they wanted to make original games, cool games, and I want them to do that. I think that they've more than earned it. They are a very talented studio, and they deserve to spread their wings. A lot of people say they need to make Metroid, and I get it, but unless Retro ballooned into a much bigger studio that could handle 2 different big games at the same time, it's not meant to be. I think that they should work on a new IP. And rumor has had it for like a year now, that's exactly what they're doing. I think it's some kind of sci-fi game, sci-fi action game. I'm kind of fingers crossed on that. About a couple months ago, I believe it was the composer for Deus Ex Mankind Divided. He said, yo, I'm working with Retro Studios, and this game is my most hyped project I've ever worked on. Something along those lines. That got my blood pumping. So I'm looking forward to whatever Retro's coming out with. Enough of that. Next, they showed off a game called Yoshi. There's Kirby and Yoshi, both coming out 2018. Neither of those games are going to be called Kirby or Yoshi. They're going to have some kind of elaborate title. And both of them look good. They both are very much in the same vein. Kirby is a game that you should play together, couch co-op. Yoshi is a game you should play together, couch co-op. Very colorful, light, friendly game. So it looks fine. It looks fine. Another game I can play with my wife. Next, they showed off Fire Emblem Warriors. Remember when I was talking about the odd dialogue and whatnot with Xenoblade 2? That's very much present in the Fire Emblem Warriors presentation. A lot of people would see this and be super excited. I say, good for you. I'm very happy for you. This game's not really on my radar like that. I would be more interested in something like Hyrule Warriors, but I was not interested enough to buy that one. Maybe down the line. Maybe down the line. Maybe Nintendo can convince me. I know these games are popular, and there's 2 versions of Hyrule Warriors at this point, but they're popular, and I'm sure Fire Emblem Warriors will be popular as well, coming in the fall. So Nintendo has games coming down the line, and we're going to talk about that in a second. Next thing they showed was Zelda DLC. There's 2 packs. They announced that. There's a season pass, $20. I've never been a big fan of season passes, but Nintendo has a history of doing these things a little bit better. With the Wii U version of Mario Kart 8, they had if you bought them together, there were 2 DLC packs. Each contained 8 tracks, 8 different race tracks and characters, and it was good. And you can get them together for like $12. Very good deal. This Zelda deal, very good, I think, compared to the competition at least. The first DLC pack is pretty much, well, I don't want to minimize it. There's a bunch of different costumes you can get. helmets, tingle, whatever it is. There's a lot of different modes, a harder mode. It looks pretty fun, looks pretty interesting. If you're really into milking everything you can out of Zelda, that first DLC pack is for you. Second one had my interest more because it seemed like it was a story. It's a story DLC. They announced that before, but they kind of hinted at really what it's about without actually showing what it's about. It looks like you're going to be playing as the Guardian characters, and I don't think that's the right term. Some of you Zelda fans are going to chew me alive for that, but it looks like you're playing as other characters, and that's kind of cool. I don't think you've ever really done that in a long period of time in a Zelda game. So that's kind of cool. $20, not bad. Next, they showed off a game Ubisoft is working on that Ubisoft actually had the honor of revealing at their press conference a day prior. And that was Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. It's like a strategy RPG game with the Mario universe and the Rabbids universe. And, you know, it looks kind of fun. I think, honestly, it looked a little bit more complicated than I would have expected a game with these worlds colliding. The Rabbids are very much geared towards children, and Mario has always been a family thing. So I was kind of surprised at the depth of this game, but it looks fun, at least to me. Next, they showed off Rocket League, and it wasn't a surprise because in that sizzle reel I mentioned at the beginning of the video, there was like 2 minutes dedicated to Rocket League. Rocket League is coming to the Switch, and it's coming with exclusive Nintendo yada 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 parts and customizations. So that's cool, but the big news, which is a continuation from Microsoft's conference, the big news is that Rocket League on the Switch is cross-play. You could play online on the Switch against people online on the Xbox One or on the PC. Again, no Minecraft. Wrong. I meant no PS4. My thoughts are getting mixed up. No PS4. You could play on all these systems together, but no PS4. And I can make a whole video on that topic. But just like Minecraft, which Microsoft announced a couple days ago, you have Xbox One, Switch, and PC, and mobile all playing together, but not PS4, and that's all because of Sony. Sony recently released, not a statement, but they were interviewed about this. Somebody at Sony was interviewed, and they pulled the Nintendo card. I'm saying this on the Nintendo video. Sony pulled the Nintendo card and said, yo, you know, the reason is because Minecraft has a very young audience, and we at Sony need to be able to ensure that we can protect that audience. As if PlayStation Network isn't full of just as many shitheads as Xbox Live is. Complete BS argument that we can get into another day. But that was cool. Rocket League coming to the Switch. I think that'd be pretty fun with the HD Rumble. Finally, and it's weird to say finally so quickly, but finally, in this 24.5-minute video, they showed off Super Mario Odyssey. And it was just a trailer. A great trailer, though. Starting with a freaking T-Rex. If you didn't know beforehand that you were watching a Mario trailer, seeing a giant realistic T-Rex pop up, you wouldn't think you were watching a Mario trailer. You might have thought you were looking at a new IP, which, God forbid, Nintendo. But that's pretty cool. I think that's pretty cool. And the whole trailer looked amazing. Every single shot, Mario was doing something new. The game looks fantastic. Coming October, I want to say 27th. It's coming October. Great. That's sooner than people thought. People thought November. I thought November. But I digress. I don't want to get in too long. I could be making videos a lot. I could make so many videos from this week alone. And I will try to make more. But I want to know your thoughts about Nintendo's conference. It wasn't really a conference. It hasn't really been a conference for like the last 4 years or so. But I think that they honestly went above what I expected. Like I said, my hype was deflated. Tell me it's a 30-minute video. It's really 25 minutes under. And, you know, you focus on 2017 games. I'm not going to necessarily expect the world. But they showed off quite a bit more 2018 games than I expected. And really, oh my gosh, the only notable third-party game they showed was Rocket League. And that is just a hair away from indie these days. Even though that studio started pretty indie, they're a big deal now. They didn't show off Payday 2 at all, which is the only mature third-party game that I could think of that's coming to the Switch, or at least been announced for it. It's been confirmed recently that Call of Duty World War II is in fact not coming to the Switch. So, sorry loot boxes, I will not be paying for you. Not that I would have anyway. But let me know your thoughts, comment section below. What did you think of the Nintendo Spotlight? It was only 24 minutes and change. Check it out. Let me know your thoughts, comment section below. Subscribe for more if you haven't already. Did you like this video? I'd appreciate a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, you can thumb down it. But just subscribe. Tell me why. Give me comments. I love you so much. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.